Hello everyone, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning arrives this month, and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share your Mission Impossible memories with me. Mission Impossible. Wow, I have loved this series since I was probably 7 years old. I didn't watch the original television show at first, actually. I think the earliest memory I have of Mission Impossible is when my family rented the first film on VHS from Hastings.
Simple game. Is he serious?
Always.
It's much worse than you think.
We're being ambushed. Abort, that's an order. They knew we were coming. Do you read me?
I don't care how he did it. I want to know why he did it. You're worried about me. Why you survived.
I'm sure we can find something I have that you need.
No one sent me.
These guys are trained to be ghosts. Let's not waste time chasing after him. Let's make him come to us. Find something that's personally important to him and you squeeze. This whole operation was a decoy. I can understand you're very upset. You've never seen me very upset. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
And I fell asleep the first time. I remember the elevator scene with Emilio Estevez, and then I woke up during the London Terminus scene, the whole train part. Red light, green light. And then I asked my mom, can you rewind it? And I love the film when I got to see it all the way through. About a couple of months after that, my mom bought it on VHS, and I remember that original poster with the white matte background and Ethan Hunt's side profile in blue. And I wore out my mother's VHS over and over. That was the one movie I did borrow from her a lot. I absolutely love Mission Impossible. It was around the time I was getting into film. Without really knowing it yet, I just knew I wanted to be a storyteller. You know, I wanted to make stuff that was like that. And Brian De Palma's first film is just incredible. That Langley vault scene is still one of the most tense moments I've seen on film. Kittredge, clearly haven't seen me very upset. As far as the TV show goes, they don't show it too much anymore on TV, but I remember the 80s revival being on reruns. Yeah, I actually really liked that, and it's a shame that they didn't get to use that team. But it was crazy seeing Ethan Hunt lose his team, become disavowed, and having to go rogue, get the knock list, seeing Vanessa Redgrave as Max, Job 14, Jean Reno as Krieger, Ving Rhames as Luther Stickle. Man, Ving Rhames and Tom Cruise have been in all 8 of the films, and Danny Elfman's iconic Mission Impossible score. There was a PS1 video game, and I did eventually get the Game Boy Color game, but before that, that was a film I watched for about 4 years. And, you know, back then, they didn't announce a movie 5 years in advance, you know, before a script. It's like you didn't really know about a movie until you saw a trailer for it either on VHS or on TV for a TV spot or even the movie theater. I remember my mom rented Runaway Bride, and there was this man climbing a mountain, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. What is this? And I was like, what if it's another Mission Impossible? I was like, I wonder if there's going to be a Mission Impossible 2. And then it has the guy slide down and nearly, like, he was like cliffhanging basically. And then he's like, identity confirmed, Ethan Hunt. And then it shows Tom Cruise with the long hair and it has like the rock rendition from Limp Bizkit. And I was like, oh my God, there's going to be a Mission Impossible 2.
Good morning, Mr. Hunt. Sorry I barged in on your vacation. Well, Mr. Hunt, I don't quite know where to begin.
You know me?
No. Should I?
She's got no training for this kind of thing.
But to go to bed with a man who lied to him, she's a woman. She's got all the training she needs.
Welcome to Australia, mate. This ain't funny.
The mother of all nightmares is on the loose.
I don't think I can do it.
I mean, it'll be difficult.
Very.
Well, this is not mission difficult, Mr. Hunt. It's mission impossible. Difficult should be a walk in the park for you.
You gotta be kidding.
I was so excited and I wanted to see this in the theater. I was about 9 years old when MI2 came out. And I remember that iconic poster with like the fire and Tom Cruise running with like the leather jacket. I mean, he kind of had that profile for like a lot of movies. Like look at Minority Report's original cover and that, like they're identical. But I absolutely wanted to see that because Mission Impossible 1 was one of my favorite films and I wanted to see a follow-up. And I remember on Memorial Day 2000, my mom, dad, and I went to go see it as a family, and that was quite an experience. I remember reading the review, seeing the image of Tom Cruise with the sunglasses and motorcycle in the paper. That movie, I love that opening. You keep calling me Dimitri. You really shouldn't. He's like, you're not Dimitri? He's like, no. And then he pulls the mask. I mean, they had a lot of mask reveals, and it was a very John Woo film. Was it Mission Impossible? Not entirely, but it was a John Woo film, and being a fan of Face Off and Broken Arrow, MI2 is right up my alley. Ethan Hunt was pretty much a shoot first, ask questions later version. But I have something in my head canon where I'm like, you know why he knows martial arts and stuff and he's fighting now? He got his ass kicked by a senior citizen, Jim Phelps, in that train. So now he took martial arts in between the movies. No, I always joke. You had Thandie Newton as Nia Nordhoff Hall. You have Dougray Scott as Sean Ambrose. I Disappear by Metallica, the only Metallica song to be made specifically for a movie. Take a Look Around by Limp Bizkit. Oh man, who could forget Hans Zimmer's score? Oh man, Bear Island is such a great track. Probably outside of the action, one of the best motorcycle chases on film. Like this and Matrix Reloaded are awesome. It was quite something seeing that in the cinema. I remember when we got out, my dad's like, you know what? This could be like James Bond, where they could have a franchise like Bond later if they keep going this direction. Yeah, I just enjoyed the hell out of that movie. We relocated and moved to another location for my dad's job. And the first Christmas we were there, my parents got me Mission Impossible for the Game Boy Color. I have it right there, and oh man, I love the score. Everything about that game was just so cool and kind of like a Metal Gear, you know? And we didn't have a DVD player yet, so MI2 came out on DVD first and was a Blockbuster exclusive. You know, back then the video stores had exclusive rights of what movie was going to be at a store at a given time. So I didn't really watch it on video until probably 2000, 2001, where like, probably 2001 actually.
Agent located.
Good morning, Mr. Hunt.
Now you can own Mission Impossible 2, the new special edition video. With over 45 minutes of additional features, there's more to this mission than ever before. Take the mission home on video cassette.
And Hollywood Video, I saw that cover. Iconic. Got the VHS. And for the longest time, I enjoyed both films. For a while, I kind of tried to talk into myself that 2 was a bad movie and everything, but I have to be honest, I actually really enjoyed that film. The first one still is one of the best, but 2 is just like the exact opposite, but I like it because Tom Cruise said if there was going to be a potential MI3 at the end of the tape, he said that like each one was going to have its own flavor and feeling and tone. And I liked that. That's something I kind of miss about the later films that the earlier 4 films had, was that each one felt different. For the longest time, that was it for Mission Impossible. 6 long years. I thought that was the end. He had Happily Ever After. 1, 2, that was it. You didn't think about franchising. And then after MI2, we moved to another area because of my dad's job. But before we moved, one of the last games I got at an EB Games in my area was Mission Impossible Operation Surma. Love the legendary Steve Blum as Ethan Hunt. I wish we had Tom Cruise's likeness and voice, but you did get Ving Rhames as Luther Stickle, Billy Baird back, and it was cool. It was like an amalgamation of MI1 and MI2. It was a very hard game, but it was fun. They did a Halo jump before Fallout. That was such a fun video game, very Splinter Cell, Metal Gear Solid. And then the news of MI3 came about. Yeah, I remember Entertainment Tonight talking about them filming in Italy, and I was a huge J.J. Abrams fan. Not only did he write Felicity with Kerry Russell, but I watched Alias, and if you look at MI3, it's pretty much Alias with Ethan Hunt. The way it starts in the middle, something backtracks to show how they get into that predicament, and then everything else. Philip Seymour Hoffman is probably the best villain of the series as Owen Davian. You get Michelle Monaghan as Julia. Simon Pegg's introduced as Benji.
Execute.
Such a nice car.
Do it.
It's Hunt. I know it's Hunt.
You'll never get what you want! You don't think I'll do it?
But this trailer, I remember seeing it on King Kong in 2005, and that was just an amazing trailer with that money shot and everything. Oh man, and we saw that in cinemas. It was a crazy time. It was after the Oprah jumping couch incident with Tom Cruise, and you know, War of the Worlds is what it was, but like MI3, I was so excited because I never thought we'd get an MI3, and that was like an amazing movie from start to finish. And I think it's underrated in the series, and I think J.J. Abrams doesn't get his flowers for his first feature film. Because of this, he was able to do Star Trek, but also this is a film that allowed Mission Impossible to be a franchise. You had the first 2, but MI3 walked so Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout could run, you know? And this film doesn't get nearly enough credit. Everybody gives credit to Ghost Protocol, but you wouldn't have Ghost Protocol without MI3. And this is the turning point for the franchise. And then after MI3, that was it. You know, the DVD came out. I got the DVD set. The trilogy. Target had one. They called it Mission Monday, where the film was released on a Monday instead of a Tuesday. We relocated again, and I loved the trilogy. I watched them like year-round, played the video games. And it wasn't until I was in college that we got Entertainment Tonight showing Ghost Protocol. They finally dropped the numbers, and it was crazy with that Eminem and Pink song.
The President has initiated Ghost Protocol. The entire IMF has been disavowed. Now I've been ordered to take you to Washington, where they will hang the Kremlin bombing on you and your team, unless you were to escape after assaulting Brandt and me. But if any one of your team is caught, they will be branded terrorists out to incite global nuclear war.
So what happens now?
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
So, what's the play?
Cadillacs, the bills, coupe the bills, brain dead rims, yeah, stupid wheels, girl, I'm super real, lose it tooth and nail, try to fight it, try to deny it, stupid you will feel. What I do it
Who are you really, Brandt?
We all have our secrets. Don't we, Ethan?
Okay, now remember, blue is glue.
And when it's red?
Dead.
You're not gonna make it!
You're not helping.
Burj Khalifa climb was just nuts doing that for real. That was the best stunt since the Langley Vault, and it was crazy. Started the whole trend of Ethan Hunt having short hair in the odd ones and long hair in the evens until they got to 7 and 8, you know. But, oh man, that was quite something. And I remember it was going to come out May of 2012 around the Avengers, and luckily they released it early around December, so we as a family again got to see Ghost Protocol, and that was something in the cinema. It was a bit more lighthearted and fun, but it was closer to the TV show in a way and more akin to the first film, but in a lighter tone. The Kremlin bombing scene was just nuts. The ending, Hendrix I thought was kind of a weak villain, but he was well written. When you see the deleted scenes, they really cut a lot of his stuff. But the director that did The Incredibles and stuff, that was his first live action film, and it's a shame that he hasn't done anything after Tomorrowland, because like that was one of the better entries. And it was nice seeing some familiar faces and some new faces. Jeremy Renner was almost going to replace Ethan Hunt, which wouldn't have been bad, but I did not like Brandt's character. I found him annoying and overly analytical. There's not enough rope. No shit. I just love that moment. The dust storm, it being shot in IMAX. And that was just iconic. That took it to a whole other level. 3 in Ghost Protocol. And this is what really, I think, cracked the formula and made the series that we know as today. And a couple of years went by, and it wasn't until I graduated college, Rogue Nation came out. You had that Ready or Not, Here I Come, you know, You Can't Hide by the Fugees.
Benji. Ethan, where are you? The Syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do what we do.
An anti-IMF.
They're coming after us with everything they've got.
You ready?
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
So what's the play?
You want to bring down the Syndicate? It's impossible.
How do you know we can trust her? Desperate times. Desperate measures.
You have your seatbelt on? You asking me that now?
Oh, hey boys, what did I miss? Ethan?
Benji! Open the door! Open the door! Yeah, I'm trying.
Oh my god!
Ilsa Faust, Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust is introduced. Alec Baldwin. The Syndicate is a rogue nation, trained to do what we do. Man, another motorcycle chase scene, that underwater scene, which might be topped in The Final Reckoning. The introduction of Solomon Lane, the Syndicate, an organization that was in the TV show, like man. And by this time, I did get to catch the classic TV series, Rogue Nation, which is awesome. And I love the intro and how it like recaps the events that have yet to happen, you know, like the first film in the TV show. It got back to basics, and it was the first time we had Christopher McQuarrie. And it's crazy because in between Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, I saw Jack Reacher, and after seeing that car chase, I'm like, this guy needs to do the next Mission Impossible. Not only did he do the next Mission Impossible, the first 4 have different directors, the last 4 have the same director, but what I like is that he made each film feel different enough. Even though 7 and 8 feel a little bit derivative of what came before, it still is different enough that it feels unique. Each entry doesn't become stale, you know, they're consistent. And I love Ilsa Faust. Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust is like the best Bond girl that's never been in a Bond film. So another couple of years go by, and then we get Mission Impossible Fallout, and that can't fight the friction.
You need to walk away.
Please don't make me go through
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
Ethan, that's not who we are.
Maybe we need to reconsider that.
You can't fight the friction!
So, how is he?
Hell, you know. Same old Ethan.
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
I remember seeing that trailer on the Super Bowl. It's a shame that that scene with the truck didn't make it in the final cut, because I would have loved to have seen that, or them try to redo that in another movie. It's like Skyfall, Dark Knight level good. I remember early reviews saying it's a Dark Knight of the Mission Impossible series, and it really is. The use of IMAX, the action, just everything was just on all cylinders in that movie from start to finish. We saw it as a family, and it was only one that my dad actually saw twice in the cinemas. Me and him went and took my nephew before, who went off to college. Ilsa Faust back. You get Henry Cavill as August Walker, aka John Lark. The whole mustache, yeah, the whole Justice League, Mission Impossible mustache thing, Mustache Gate, so to speak, is a whole other story. But yeah, I just love the fisticuffs of that bathroom fight. It reminded me very much of True Lies. Vanessa Kirby as the White Widow, and how they mentioned Max. She had a thing for paradoxes. I just love the throwbacks. And then bringing Julia and having closure there. Ving Rhames back as Luther. He has a lot to do more than he did in 5 and 4. And oh my God. It was emotional seeing Ghost Protocol with Julia at the end and him going off. But like, that ending was just great. This could have been the ending of the franchise. And then we got 7 and 8 announced, and I thought, wait, is this about to be a conclusion? Because the only time they do this, if it's like a big thing or a conclusion, you know, like Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, Back to the Future 2 and 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, Matrix Reloaded, Revolutions, you know. And I was excited for it. The sad thing is, the COVID pandemic happened, the budget inflated, and you know what's sick? We would have already had these films, and I would have made this video a long time ago. I was waiting for Dead Reckoning for a long, long time. Walmart had a deal where you could see it a couple of days early. So because of Walmart, I got to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning early.
You need to pick a side.
This was the only one that we didn't all go as a family. My mom was feeling a little sick then, so she didn't get to go. So it's just my father and I. And, you know, it wasn't bad. It was great, but I really hope that all of us get to be present together for the final reckoning, because, I don't know, I just feel sentimental. That's something that's always been our thing, my mom, dad, and I, as the years have gone by, the decades now, really. And it's crazy to think that Tom Cruise has been doing this for 30 years, but I love that movie. I would have liked it if they kept Dead Reckoning Part 2 as a title, but The Final Reckoning is a much better title, but I love it. It was a bit more, it was filled a bit more with humor. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Roger Moore's Bond, but, you know, that was also the 7th installment, you know. So you could tell that it was getting a little bit derivative, a little bit more kind of humor. There's a little bit more humor thrown in, but overall, the action and everything was just done top notch, and it didn't feel like a 2.5 hour movie. The stunts were crazy. The train stuff was reminiscent of 1, the bike going off the ramp. Ilsa's death still kind of, I mean, it had to happen, but it still kind of rubs me the wrong way, where I'm like, is it a fake out or not? And depending how Final Reckoning goes, it's going to change my opinion of this. Hayley Atwell's great as Grace. We'll see if she's either going to be a hidden villain or maybe the face of the franchise moving forward. We'll see. But I love AI as a villain, the entity, and Azai Morales is great. Having somebody Tom Cruise's age there, and they add more to Ethan Hunt's backstory. The whole thing was terrific. I got that on 4K. I forgot to mention that when Fallout was coming out, combatmovie.com was having a sweepstakes, and I won the first 5 films on 4K for free. I didn't get a 4K player till about, what, 5 or 6 years later, so I watched them finally. They look great, but yeah, and I told my dad, it's like, well, we just have to wait till next summer. Well, next summer turned out to be 2 years, and now we are looking forward to the Final Reckoning.
Your team has been betrayed, Ethan. All your secrets compromised. Everything you are, everything you've done, has come to this.
You gave him an aircraft carrier?
Our lives are the sum of our choices. This was your calling, your destiny. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Mission accepted. What's done is done when we say it's done, and I'm ready to trust Ethan Hunt one last time. I'm feeling kind of emotional because 25 years ago almost, my mother, father, and I went to see Mission Impossible 2 on Memorial Day weekend. That was the first Mission Impossible I saw in cinemas. I still want to see 1. Maybe they'll do a re-release for its 30th anniversary next year. But if this is Tom Cruise's final time as Ethan Hunt, that theatrical journey with my parents is going to end 25 years later, almost, exactly. I'm just feeling emotional over that, man. The power of film. It brings us closer together as a community, but then also having these memories as a family as we've each grown, you know, and the people who have come and gone in our lives since then. It just makes me feel emotional, and it's going to be the end of an era. And yeah, it's a mission that I'll gladly accept over and over. And if they stick the landing and don't pull a No Time to Die, we're in good hands. This is going to be one series to watch over and over, and I'll always cherish these memories, no matter what happens. And I thank Tom Cruise for bringing this character in this series to life and taking the TV show and turning it into a completely different monster. I think it'd be cool if they used another IMF team or did another TV show, or even if they got Tom Cruise's and Christopher McQuarrie's involvement in a video game, you know, Uncharted style. But regardless what happens in the future, this was an incredible mission, to say the least. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share your Mission Impossible memories down in the comments below. I just wanted to briefly reflect on this series and my memories of it. Can't wait to see the Final Reckoning with my parents. I'll come back here and tell you all about it, and maybe rank the movies, but yeah. Until then, everyone, stay safe and healthy. Tell the people in your lives that you love them. May you be safe on any mission you're on.